In this WrestleTalk news, WWE covering up Sasha Banks and Naomi's real status. AEW and WWE are working together. Did Forbidden Door do well enough to get a sequel, and more? Subscribe and enable notifications to always on for daily wrestling news videos.
Support WrestleTalk!
And you're gonna want to subscribe because right now we're in a wrestling sandwich. The bread at Forbidden Door last Sunday and Money in the Bank this Saturday. And the filling is jam. And by jam, I mean the hottest wrestling news. The hottest wrestling news like... WWE has swept the nominations for a category ESPN made specifically for WWE. Congratulations, WWE, because it's more difficult to book predetermined results in the real world of awards. Unless it's the Golden Globes, they allegedly totally give you stuff in return for money. This is the news that ESPN's ESPY Awards, which promises to celebrate major sports achievements, remembering unforgettable moments, and honouring the leading performers and performance, has announced the nominations for Best WWE Moment, to be decided in a fan-voted tournament. There's so many standouts to choose from. Cody Rhodes returns to WWE at WrestleMania, Bianca Belair wins the Raw Women's Championship, Stone Cold stuns Vince McMahon, Austin Theory, and Pat McAfee. But I think we all know what really deserves to win. Looking down those possible winners, after the last 2 tough years of lockdown, it can only be one thing. Wee Man body slams Sami Zayn. Everybody remember to go to ESPN.com to vote for Wee Man. Let's win this thing. Unsurprisingly, Sasha Banks and Naomi do not feature in the nominations. And the reason for that is because they've been released. But possibly not. But maybe yes. But also they're still with the company. Unless they've been let go. What's going on? Banks and Naomi walked out of the 16th of May episode of Raw because they were reportedly either unhappy with their creative long-term direction or unprofessional divas who called their fellow wrestlers unsafe, depending on whose side of the story you believe. After repeatedly burying them on air, WWE announced Banks and Naomi, the promotion's women's tag team champions, were being indefinitely suspended. Their titles were subsequently won by future Hall of Famer Vacant, and there's not really been a solid update on those belts or Banks and Naomi's futures with the company since. But there has been a lot of conflicting dirt sheet reports. Both Wrestling Inc.'s Raj Giri and WrestleVotes reported earlier this month that Banks had been released by WWE. Fightful Select then added there was backstage talk at the June 17th episode of SmackDown that Banks, at least, had been let go, citing talent who would be in the position to know. Now, there's been another update, and it doesn't make the situation any clearer. PW Insider have reported that, as of the morning of Tuesday the 28th of June, the day after the John Cena Celebration episode of Raw, Banks and Naomi are still with WWE. They are still listed internally on the active WWE roster, and there has been no change on their behind-the-scenes status since they walked out on Raw in May. Wrestling Inc.'s Raj Giri, the man who first reported Banks had been released, disagrees and is sticking to his initial timeline. Here's what I know about Sasha Banks. She was released on June the 10th, and it came from Erica Schreiber, the Vice President of Business and Legal Affairs for Talent Relations. As for why WWE has not said anything or removed her, the rumor is that leadership is trying to smooth things over. So according to Giri, Banks is no longer with WWE and hasn't been for the last few weeks. So why would leadership be trying to smooth things over? I don't know what Giri is referring to there. It could be the locker room fallout, as Banks' situation is directly linked to Naomi, a wrestler they presumably want to keep given her family connections to WWE's biggest faction, the Bloodline, being married to Jimmy Uso. Not making Sasha's status public could be a way to protect Naomi's ongoing contract negotiations, with her deal believed to be expiring soon. Or the smoothing things over could relate to Sasha's release itself. Dave Meltzer reported last week that Banks' lawyers were working on getting her release from WWE. Perhaps behind the scenes, the release had already been agreed. It's just the specific terms they're now going back and forth on, with Sasha reportedly wanting to pursue acting work and an NFT project with her cousin Snoop Dogg, which could clash with her WWE deal's 90-day non-compete or intellectual property terms. Sasha hasn't tweeted since the walkout back in May. Naomi, however, has been posting again since the 11th, coincidentally the day after Raj claims Banks was released. It's mostly been of a personal nature. Father's Day wishes, motivational nonsense, and selfies. But since Sunday, it's taken a directly wrestling-related turn. First celebrating Cesaro's debut in AEW, and then saying she's mad she missed this week's episode of Raw, replying to John Cena's thank you tweet. "You're the best. Thank you for all the encouragement and feedback you've given me through my years, and for the best tours ever. Smiley face emoji. I'm only mad I miss you this time, lol. There's always this amazing energy shift whenever you're in the building." What do you think is happening with Banks and Naomi? I reckon Sasha is all but legally released, and Naomi is the one WWE is smoothing things over for a return. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Speaking of that Cena-centric episode, while the rating dipped ever so slightly from the previous week, it still pulled in an impressive 1.95 million viewers, making it one of the most watched Raws of the year. In an even more heartwarming stat, it's also been announced John Cena has broken a Make-A-Wish Foundation record, officially having granted over 650 wishes, the first celebrity to do so. The most recent one had him traveling to Amsterdam to meet a 19-year-old teenager with Down syndrome who had recently fled the war in Ukraine. Amazing stuff from an amazing man. But he still should have turned heel in 2011. But Cena wasn't the only person on the show. AEW people were there too. AEW vs WWE Forbidden Door 2 confirmed. Monday's episode of Raw saw full-time AEW stars Bryan Danielson, Chris Jericho, and Big Show Paul White sending congratulation messages to Cena for being in WWE for 20 years. And now Fightful Select have revealed how this came about. Presumably not knowing they could have just booked them on Cameo, WWE contacted AEW directly, and Tony Khan approved it. The process was described as very straightforward, and WWE got virtually everyone they requested to send videos. I'm guessing Serpentico big leagued them. Wanna just try asking for Omega vs Reigns at Mania next year? Worth a shot. This comes just a week after WWE star AJ Styles sent in a video message for Impact Wrestling's Slammiversary show. This is super weird. WWE historically hate working with other wrestling promotions, particularly such a fierce competitor like Impact. And AEW too, I guess. Their old mindset would be we can't feature names like Danielson and Jericho because that is promoting the top stars of a rival company. But WWE do occasionally go through periods of just being super chill for no reason. Remember that time they let Samoa Joe still take indie bookings when he first joined NXT? It remains to be seen if this is the start of a more diplomatic relationship between WWE and the rest of the wrestling world, or one of those several month-long fads. While we figure that out, the other big wrestling promotion loving of AEW in New Japan has, on pay-per-view at least, performed above expectations. Following news that Forbidden Door was on track to exceed 100,000 buys, Tony Khan has tweeted, "Thank you to everyone, especially wrestling fans around the world, who made last Sunday's Forbidden Door event a hit, with over $1 million in ticket sales and $5 million on pay-per-view." That would have been an impressive number in a non-injury timeline. To do that without the company's top stars like CM Punk, Kenny Omega, MJF, and Bryan Danielson is remarkable. It bodes well for Khan's plans to make this at least an annual event. And going by New Japan President Takami Obari's interview with Tokyo Sports, he wants to go one further. He alluded to how many top stars were missing from the card, but despite that, he came away feeling positive and would like to see a continuation of this event. And the next time they do it, it should happen in Japan. Every match in the Tokyo Dome 6 stars, oh my god! I think there is a need to see this event in Japan. The 50th anniversary year, that's this year, is a good opportunity to make that happen. I think there are fighters from AEW who would like to compete in front of Japanese fans. It all really depends on Japan's COVID precautions for whether that can logistically work, but another Forbidden Door, this time in Japan, this year, would be awesome.
In this WrestleTalk news, a former WWE wrestler corroborates allegations of sexual assault against Vince McMahon, backstage details on Claudio Castagnoli and AEW, Luke's review of Raw, and more.